welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. It is that time of year when booktubers everywhere are deciding what they're going to prioritize for the rest of the year. And so here I am about to tell you which books I will be finishing up the year with. And I am very excited about these reads. So without further ado, let's just jump in here. I'm going to begin with Roger Zelazny's Lord of Light. This is actually a book that I have already finished, so I'm cheating a little bit here. But I will be in a discussion with Joanna on her channel very soon about Lord of Light, and I'm very excited. It is a science fiction book, actually, so a little bit out of my comfort zone of fantasy. But it has some fantasy elements for sure, but I would call it science fiction. And it is very fun. It was an interesting read. It is something that draws heavily from Hindu mythology as well as Buddhism. And behind the humor, there is a lot of serious thought and critiques of society and hierarchy and various things. It was a fascinating read. I'm really looking forward to discussing this one with Joanna. And this, by the way, was a gift from Matt over on Matt on Books, who encouraged me to read this, and I'm very glad that I did. So next on my little list here for the end of the year, and I'm again cheating just a tiny bit this time because I have started Robin Hobb's Fool's Assassin. This is the beginning book of the final trilogy, Fitz and the Fool, in the realm of the Elderlings series. And boy, I cannot tell you how excited I am to be back in this world. I love Robin Hobb's writing. I really enjoy the slice of life element that she seems to begin most of these books with, just letting me kind of bathe in the story for a while before it really gets going, and always tugging at my heartstrings so effectively. I cannot wait to be able to say I have finished the entirety of the realm of the Elderlings. And so yes, I hope to be finished with this by about the beginning of December. And so far I'm just loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And I'm hoping, let's see, but I'm hoping that this will be my favorite trilogy of the entire series. For that to happen, it would have to upset my earlier favorite trilogy from this year. It keeps changing as I get further into the series, but Tawny Man, right now I'd have to say, is my favorite of the realm of the Elderlings. But let's see if Hobb can top that for me with Fitz and the Fool. It is an interesting place to be in, though, I will say, because I am sort of, I guess, a little anxious about finishing all of this, because I don't want it to be over, which is, of course, a very high compliment for Robin Hobb's writing. I'm a little bit sad that this entire series is going to be behind me, but there are always rereads, of course, and I am sure that this is a series that I will be rereading several times. I hope in the course of my life, should I live long enough to do so. So yes, this is just beautiful stuff. So I will be finishing this by beginning of December, and at some point in December, not immediately after finishing Fool's Assassin, but at some point in December, I will also be reading Fool's Quest, Book 2 in Fitz and the Fool. I am going to be reading the third book, the final book of the Realm of the Elderlings, in January. So Mike and I had discussed reading this entire series this year. Well, I had already read the first two trilogies, but the rest of the Realm of the Elderlings, we were going to read it all this year and finish up in December, but life being what it is, and having so many great reads in front of us, both of us sort of just agreed to finish up in January, which is no big deal. I think January will be a very fine time to finish the Realm of the Elderlings, and I'm very, very eager to see what Mike makes of it as well. We're probably going to have a discussion, hopefully getting back together with the group that we discussed the earlier trilogies with. That would include Jake Bishop and Madison Goodyear and Scott the Bald Booktuber. So yeah, hopefully that will happen. Another book that I am extremely excited to get into, and this is really important for me because the fact that I'm finishing Realm of the Elderlings is a bit sad for me, but the fact that I'm still in the midst of another great series that I think could become one of my very favorites, and that is the Wars of Light and Shadow. This is a more than a consolation. It is something that I'm very happy about. Jenny Wirtz's writing, I continue to fall in love with every book more and more. And I'm hopeful that Fugitive Prince, which is the beginning of another arc in the overall series, will be another one that I love. I have absolutely adored the books in the Wars of Light and Shadow so far. I'm in a discussion series with Joanna and with A.P. Canavan over at A Critical Dragon on this series, and I am so looking forward to discussing this one. I hope that discussion will happen in December. We shall see. I'm pretty sure AP has already finished the book, and Joanna is going to be beginning it if she hasn't already. Usually she's way ahead of me anyway. But I probably will start reading this after I finish Fool's Assassin. And it is not the chunkiest of the books in the Wars of Light and Shadow, but it is still substantial. So, but yeah, I'm so excited to be continuing in the Wars of Light and Shadow. And then this will be a lot easier. I'm actually not even going to be reading the entirety of this. I hope to progress in the Sandman. I read the first 8 issues and discussed them with Varsha over at Reading by the Rainy Mountain. And I think before the end of the year, I would like to have finished the next 8 in the series overall and discuss them with Varsha and hopefully get AP to come over as well, because he's written a master's thesis on the Sandman. He's done a PhD as well, but his master's thesis was on the Sandman, and he would be a wealth of information on this one, I am quite sure. So hopefully he will join Varsha and me when we discuss the next 8 issues of the Sandman. So that would be 9 through 16. And I enjoyed the first 8 tremendously. I mean, I'm already a Neil Gaiman fan, at least as far as I can claim to be without having read the Sandman. I love American Gods and The Ocean at the End of the Lane. And I know that the Sandman has been a huge gap in my Neil Gaiman reading, so I am definitely going to be crossing that one off the list next year as we finish up. But yeah, continuing this in December, and very excited about it. And also, I have Jade Legacy. This is something I need to finish this year. Actually, I don't need to, because the group that I'm discussing this one with, and that would include Jimmy from the Fantasy Network, and Bookborn, and Taylor from Made Between the Pages. We have actually discussed the first book, Jade City, on my channel, and fairly recently we had a discussion on Jade War over at Taylor's channel, Made Between the Pages. And in January, at some point, we're going to discuss Jade Legacy, the final book in the trilogy. And I'm going to feel pretty good because I got some major buddy reads done this year. I recently had the discussion with Alan on the Books of Babel and had a great time discussing the 3 of the 4 books with our group, which included Grace Dion and Ben from Overly Average Ben, and also, of course, the other library channel that is near and dear to me, which is Library of a Viking, and that is, of course, Johan. And Alan from the Library of Alexandria was part of all those discussions. Alan and I went off on our own on the last one because we kind of split there with some of the group not really loving the final book, and Alan and I loving the final book. But that was a great discussion. But anyway, I'm very happy to have finished so many of the series that I had my eyes on for quite a while this year. So it's been a good year, and I'm hoping to finish up the year strong. I also will continue I will finish the latest manga I've been doing with Murphy as well, To Your Eternity. And yeah, that'd probably just about do it for me for the year, considering how much I'm able to read. But end of the year will be strong when I finish up the semester and have some free time to really dive into some of these reads. I'm very excited for all of them, and I would love to hear your thoughts on any of them that you have read. And that's it from me for now. Till next time.